Well, hello there, Vicky here. Hope you are all very well. Yes, I've managed to actually be polite at the beginning. I hope you've had a wonderful day and the coming week is going to be kind to you. Although it'll be a couple of weeks after this week before you see the video. Makes sense in my head, that's all that matters. So I've got the trusty little ring binder, ephemera ring binder. By now you've seen 2 videos on it, and this is actually the second last one to be decorated, and I decided it was time to go a little bit, just go off the page a little bit, so to speak, and bring in another colour. Now I think these range of greens all go within here, and then which got me thinking and reminded me that I've got all these beautiful toppers. So all these green toppers are going to go with at least one of these. So like obviously I won't be using all this, but the different shades will go with different toppers. So that's what we're going to do. So it's like I'm playing cards, isn't it? No, this is beautiful, isn't it? It's just a pretty image, and I'm wondering which one will show it off the best. And I always tend to go to the dark side of the moon. So we'll cut that. Now they say if you cut it off at exactly 12, you will cut your branding strip off. But that does not always work, but it's usually where I start. So I might be cutting off a little bit of the paper itself, but all things being equal, it should be a 12-inch square. As you can see, it all varies a little bit from paper to paper. That one's a little bit wider, so there's just a little bit of that green left, although it is very even. Down before we do a damage. I'm thinking it's actually looking like it was meant to be. Just got that little touch of green along the side there. It's all in the way we look at things, isn't it? So if I might cut it that way this whole strip will be able to be used if I want it a full one behind the card, and then I can cut it down from there, small piece by small piece, but this will leave enough for me to play with. So we'll just pop that there for the moment. And it seems silly that I swap from cutter to cutter, but obviously this one takes up a little less room once we get the 12 by 12 cut down. I love my big guillotine and I probably use it all the time, but just for our making videos, it's best to try, and I am trying really hard to keep everything nice and clean and not fussy, so that you can see what I'm doing and not all the mess around me. So I'm thinking that one looks really nice there, don't you? I think I do. I really like that. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want it perfectly set. I like it off the backing page a bit, if you like, off the page. So if I do that there, and if I cut it off about there. Now I know I'm wasting a little bit of this as we go across because I cut it wider. I might want that full piece for another one, just to do it a little bit different, so that I might want it to look like that, so I can use up the whole strip. So I sacrifice maybe half an inch. The sacrifice is real. It's exactly half an inch. So now we've got this one. Of course I'm going to ink it. I was also thinking that maybe I would sew on it. So I've just run a little line of sewing up there. You can see there I've just tucked the threads in the back there. They're going to get glued in with everything. So now what we have to do is we have to make sure that our pocket doesn't get glued, which won't happen if this just, I was just about to drip down everywhere, that glue. So what we want to do is just get the white covered with glue, and there's my threads. Just ignore that, pretend I'm not that sloppy and naughty. The rest of that will be caught up there, and never we mind. Goodness, I've still got that frog in my throat. Now, you would have noticed over the last week or so of my videos there is a noise in the background. It is indeed my fan. Can't do anything about that, I'm sorry. Can't sit in this room without some sort of assistance for airflow, and it's not too long in the future, I feel. So I'm just going around the edge here because that is our pocket. That's our little topper, so that we know just on that one to just glue along the sides, and then the base, the contrast, is the one that's got it all down. So now what we want to do is we want to put this straight, so probably shadows, maybe a head will appear, and then we will put it down there like that. Probably didn't have to worry about getting up on that one because we've got the straight lines of the paper. Now, at first when I thought of doing contrast and green came to mind, I thought, what are you thinking of? Because green's not a colour I can, it's a colour that confuses me a little bit. I think you'll find everybody has just got that colour that they find a little bit difficult to work with. I don't know why. It just seems to be that way. So I haven't got a tag here to check it. You'll just have to trust me. So now we've got that down. But then I was cutting off these. They had these bingo card ephemera cards, I guess they are, in this ink and pen, and there's just oodles of them. So what I've started to do is I've been cutting them up to separate them, so I can start using them as the ephemera. Otherwise I'll get to the stage where everything's used up in this room. All I'll be left with is these wretched bingo cards. So I've been cutting them up, and of course I'm getting like little rows of numbers like this, or a word that doesn't fit because they're not all exact. So I cut up all the ones that rattle, and like the dream, the sheet that had the dream on it, it didn't fit anywhere. So I'm thinking of putting them, like put that down there, or even the row of numbers, because we do stamp numbers on things, don't we? I've gone through a paper pack called Reflections, where I got all my greens from, and at the back, like they all do, they had these tags. Now I thought, no, well, I can't use them, they're too big, but when realistically will I lose them? So what I've done is it started out like this, and I've cut it down so it's, if I put it like that and get the ring on it, you can see my new white tag the way it looks now as opposed to what it was there. So I've still got, I've still got the tag, I've just got it shorter, and because it's going in and out of the pocket, this paper isn't particularly thick, and I just find that if I don't back it with something a little bit more sturdy, the tag gets very ratty and it gets bent, and it's quite frustrating actually, just trying to get the tag in and out. So we want to have enjoyment from our things. We don't want to create frustrations. And I was thinking, oh no, now I've gone and made more work for myself, and the tag in the front of this, what use is that, you know? And then I thought, well, it's got every use in the world, because there is nothing that says that you can't take these tags out and put them in your journal if they match perfectly. Just because it's in the decorating section of your ring binder doesn't make it off limits. So the three lads have gone for a walk. Now, on Sunday evenings we tend to get like quite heavy planes go over, like really high, and I'm hoping that's what I can hear now, and it's not thunder, because the lads are out, and poor old Cody, I'm not sure he's going to deal with it very well. I don't know why I don't start laughing. It's something I do when I get a little bit worried about things. I'm a little bit of an opposite kind of person. I'm a bit bizarre in more ways than one, and I now am quite comfortable with being different. And different is good. If different doesn't hurt any other person, be you. Just be you. Different is good. Like, I'm back to front. East is west and west is north, and I don't know where south is. Underneath me somewhere, that'll do. Left and right, well, that's interchangeable. You just make it up as you go along. I very rarely ever sit down to a meal. Like I have, that's not right. I have sat down to meals when I've been really hungry. And most of the time in my life, I sit down to a meal and I'm not hungry. I don't feel hunger. But after I finish eating a meal, I feel like I haven't had anything to eat. It's like, oh, I'm hungry. So I have to be I've had to learn over the years, because I have overeaten in the past, because it's like I'm still hungry, and I'm actually not. So yeah, I'm a bit backwards. Back to front. I'm a bit back to front to other people, and can get a bit disconcerting for some. I'm just too confusing for people to be able to cope with. And that's one of the things that that's why I started saying that, is because if I'm scared or if I'm nervous about something, I'm just as likely to laugh. So, you know, the old horrible saying about, you know, she'd laugh at a funeral, or he'd laugh at a funeral. It more than likely is the way they show their grief. It's just socially abhorrent. I'm just going to find a little stamp to put on these. So I found some stamps, and I got out the little oxide ink pads in case I wanted to do different colours. Then I noticed I've got a sepia there that's new, that hasn't been used. And then I went through my stamps, and I love dark window stamps. I really do. They cut well, they stamp well. And this one's barely been used. This one, like, I don't even know that one of them in there is being used at all yet. They all look like maybe that big telephone. I think I've used the big telephone and the typewriter maybe once. And this is why I go round my room collecting different things, so that I can use what I've got. It's a terrible problem, isn't it? I know. So he's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. And not too bad, I don't think. My little telephone is kind of cute, isn't he? So if I set the tag straight, you can see the little telephone sitting there. And what have we got here? Maybe in just a little softer colour. We'll do this one. Now, I always check, well, I always try to remember to check to make sure that I've got the stamp up the right way. If it's not on the back of it, it's always a good idea. So now I'm just going to put that up there like that. And then I've made a mess when I did my stamp, and I've got a little bit of stamp around it, ink around it, which makes me very annoyed and reminds me that I need to be more careful with what I'm doing. And you can see the green there. Don't really like that very much at all. It looks like it might be the phone number, doesn't it? 61 off. This is where I get caught up in crazy things like this, because you can see, you see it, that little mark from the stamp block, this where I've overstamped and didn't clean the stamp off properly. So I'm going to put it like that, and that looks like the middle of the flower. So that's what we'll do. And next time I stamp, I'll remember to wipe my stamp properly. Now this one, with this one, I think that, you know, I won't fast forward it. We'll just talk, have a little chat together. I like spending time with you, but I won't be putting the decorating of the whole book up, because there is a lot of footage, and like I said, pages do get a little bit like the method. You get to know the method of what I'm doing and how I work. So with this tag, you'll see that. You'll probably figure out that I like things to be just right. So you can see a little bit under and a little bit over, but it actually looks like it belongs to the tag. So that makes me happy. And like I said, it reminds me. Now I'm going to use this stamp in this series, this book. So I'll just pop them out of the way so we can see what we're doing. And all we've got to do now is deal with the tag at the top. It's got a really big hole. I'm not sure. Just wait a minute, I might have a hole. I normally turn the camera off when the boys are making noise. Can you hear that? Wait for it. I mightn't have been quick enough. It's Cody. It's Cody crying. Graham's just gone out the front door and walked down the road, and Cody's not going with him. Normally if Graham goes out, he jumps in the car and away he goes. But when he just walks out the door and walks down the street, Cody's like, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, I'm still here. Don't leave me here. He's just been for a walk and everything. It's just going without me. How can you go without me? There you go. So all I did with that is I didn't have a hole punch, which was the end of the sentence that I cut myself off with, which probably wasn't the best timing, just so that I could get the hole out, the white out of the hole. I even tried putting a dot in the middle of the circle of the white, and I missed it. I thought, oh, if I put a dot in the middle of it, I'll know where to put the crocodile. So there we go. That sits in there, and this time I'm okay with things sticking. Oh, no, I'm not sure I am. Oh no, there we go. I got stuck on something. I think it probably is better to keep it underneath there so it doesn't get knocked around too much. I'm not going to make a decision on what fibre I'm going to be putting through these at the moment. I will come back to that. So there you go. So this is kind of the theme that will be throughout this book, and I think those greens look really pretty. Now that one's dark, obviously, so there's those two. So there's this one which has got the green through it, or there's this one here which is darker green, but it is a green base. So I'm thinking that where's our little toppers? So if we've got this one here that's dark, we'll put that there, and then if we just go through our little cards, we'll find ones that will go better. I don't think they're all pen and ink, but I think they're all different images. Yeah. So where was I up to? So the darker one probably. See, that one I don't like so much. That one's better. You just pick what you've got. So this is all we've got. This is all we've got to work with. So we have to make it work. Otherwise we confuse ourselves with far too many options, which I've almost done here. So that's, now you know my way of thinking. The darker ones with the lighter sheets, and then matching. So that one I'll take off. This one here. So for my mind, this and this will go there, and then all that'll be is just grabbing a tag. So I've only used 2 pieces, haven't I? Yep. 1, 2. That looks like it's layered. That's what it is, right? So there you go. I might pause for a moment at the moment. As Graham walked out the door, down and around the corner is a corner shops, and they have a man in there that cooks the yummiest pizzas. And because we didn't go out to dinner and the theatre this weekend, when we don't go out on the weekend to, like I said, the dinner and theatre, we have a pizza, which is fairly new in our house. We don't tend to have a lot of takeaways, but then again, we're not often home on a Saturday and a Friday night. So, doing it tough, aren't we? On that note, my ramblings, I'll just pause here, and hopefully I'll be able to come back after dinner and do just a little bit. Okay, I'm back again. I wasn't going to really say anything because it probably really isn't a proper conversation. Let's have a laugh. The toilet. It's all about the toilet. So neither of us use the lock. I mean, I don't think Graham even understands that there's a lock on the door. Probably does, because when we have visitors, he doesn't want to do to them what he routinely does to me. So I'm like, I get up and I think, yeah, I've got to go to the loo, just like all us girls. Gotta go. And I go up, and he gets me every time. I open the door, and he goes, yeah. And I got to tell you, getting a fright when you need to do a wee at my age, it's pretty hard to hold it all together. But then I got to thinking, I still need this. I don't know whether I'm going to leave this in or not. It's might be a bit too much for you all. But anyway, we get over that hurdle. When no one's home, it's just me, and when it's just Graham, I'm lucky if I even get the door shut. If I want the door shut, I have to be quick enough to beat Cody and Louie, because if they get the jump on me and they're in there, they're not moving, we're right, we're going to protect you. We don't know what this strange little room's all about. So if they beat me to the punch, it's like I said, the door's open most of the time. Sometimes I'm polite and I shut the door, you know. I try to, and I beat the boys. So Graham shuts the door, and I walk up, and it's like, boo! And I go through the roof, literally go through the roof. But then I got to thinking, and I guess it's because Halloween's just finished. I thought, you know those little skeletal bucklers they have in their suits and cobwebs coming off and a tray on their hand? And they've got different ones for different areas of the house. I feel like I've got one of them in every room. It just lives dormant until I go in that room and bang, there he is. It's like living with Fright Night every day of your life in this house. It really is. And yet, because I can get, you know, on a serious note, I can get very frightened, and I can, like, if I'm not quite in the right headspace, I'm sort of a bit down, or I'm really off the planet with what I'm thinking. Scaring me is not really a very good idea, because it can bring me to tears. There's a serious side to it. But when I'm bopping along and I haven't got my head in the clouds thinking of what I'm going to do next, it really can be quite funny. So I just said to Graham, he's like Lurch. Which is a lovely thing to call your husband, isn't it? Now I've thought this gate here, I can't find the little... Which topper did I choose? I didn't put it back, did I? So, yeah, there you go. Life in our house. Let's say when you go to the hospital and you visit the elderly and everything else, everything in life always comes down to the bowel movements. I used to visit some beautiful old people in a hospital. It's like, I haven't used my bowels today. Oh, I'm sorry. But how are you feeling, Elsie? Yeah, bit funny, sorry. Can't help myself. And that's just reminded me of another story that you mightn't find very funny either. A long time ago, just let me pause for a moment and I'll see if I can find that blessed. I found it, and then just while I was off, I decided to cut down the card that we were going to use and sew it. So once upon a 2 lifetimes ago, I was in the army, and off she went. Big adventure, off to do a course to learn how to do whatever it was I was supposed to learn. And when we got there, the accommodations were rudimentary. They had 2 female instructors and an entire male course, plus me, just little old me. And they were just like the long huts. So they were long huts, no partitions. You walked in one door, walked down, walked out the other door, and they're all beds opposite each other. That was it. That was the accommodation. So nobody had thought to tell them that they were going to have a female, me, there. So that was a bit of a problem to start with. And the way they came up with an answer was the last 4 beds, like 2 beds with 2 opposite, would be cordoned off with blanket. So I was on one side of a blanket with 6 or 7, I don't know, 8 men on the other side of the blanket, and that wasn't a problem. There was absolutely no issue there. They all behaved properly, as I did, and it worked swimmingly. So at least a compromise was made, because they couldn't billet me in the same long room as the men. The only trouble is there was a snorer in there, and trust me, a few army blankets hung up across the room doesn't stop the sound of somebody snoring. But anyway, that was what it was. We got on, and there were 2 ablution, I believe the word was, they used ablution blocks, showers and toilets. So the toilets were off in one area, and then there were communal showers. I think there was about three stalls. So they had to decide, because like I said, there were the two female instructors and me, and then all the rest of these poor men. They got 3 stalls for the lot of them. So that wasn't hardship for me. I didn't find that difficult. But anyway, they said the night before they had to get it squared away, which one was going to be the female, which one was going to be the male. So someone said the one on the left is the male, the one on the right is the female, or they could have said it the other way around. I don't know that I got it wrong. I'm probably betting I did, because I've gone up in the morning and I've gone, so you've got a shower, 3 shower stalls, and they all look out on a little corridor thingy, and then there's the wash basins along here with the mirrors, and the shower curtain was over this little stall. So I come in and someone's in the shower, and I think, well, I don't know, the first day I don't know, they're my instructors, you know, you're like, good morning, how are you? I just went to the end and started having my shower. After I had my shower, I could hear a noise at the basin, and I got a towel joined it here because the pair out there just arced up. So where was I? I was in the shower. So I could hear a noise, and I thought, I'll just check who that is. You know, strange place, the door's open, anybody could walk in. I stuck my head out, and here's the boss, not just one of the instructors, but the boss instructor is standing there with a bit of it, fortunately, a towel wrapped around his waist, looking in the mirror, having a shave. And I'm like, oh, I think this is going to be a bit awkward. I didn't quite know what to do. So the best thing I could do and I didn't even think that the poor thing could have slit his throat with his razor. He's there in his towel, merrily having a shave. I'm standing there with nothing but my towel and my clothes to put on, and I didn't know what to do. So in the finish, I've just gone, good morning, sir. Oh, poor. He's probably 90 and in a nursing home now. He's a fair bit older than me. So consequently, we were left in no doubt by the end of the day on whose shower block was whose. Welcome to your course, Vic, how to meet your OC. And it's funny now because it's a long time ago, and I know I'm never going to run into him ever again. He didn't see anything he shouldn't have. I certainly didn't see anything I shouldn't have. Thank goodness he wrapped a towel around himself. I think his hut was closer to the block than what mine was, so I think he was just going to walk back with the towel wrapped around. I don't know, I didn't ask. All I know, there was a towel there. Oh, some funny things have happened over the years. I don't know if you'll find that appalling or funny, but I'll tell you what, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Now that is Graham coming home with the pizza now, and the lads didn't say a word, so I'll have to go and speak harshly to them. Do you think they'll take any notice of me? So we did get that down there, so that's our second one. We just need to organise our tag. I'll be back later. Bye. Well, I'm back from dinner, all fed and watered. I have no idea now where I'm up to, if I finished my stories. If I didn't, I'll have to do some very careful listening when I'm doing the editing on this this video. You'll all think I'm bonkers. But then again, bonkers is good. Bonkers is good. I can do bonkers. It's a bit funny. My Graham goes down and buys pizza for us, but then he buys a serve of chips. You know, hot chips. The boys have to have their takeaway too, you know. So we're sitting there. It's so funny. Graham's got a chip out of the packet pretty much even before he started looking at his. I went to give it to Cody. Cody's head snapped to the side that quickly. I'm surprised he didn't snap his spinal cord. It's like, excuse me, you don't feed dogs hot food. Wouldn't have a bar of it. So Graham was just like putting a chip down on the floor for him. Oh, you'll eat it when you want it, buddy. And Louis, who learns his lessons well, apparently. So I told you last night he missed out because the night before, so forth and so on. And he thought, nah, I'm not missing. No, it was last night he missed out. Anyway, he thought, I'm not missing out. It's not happened a second night in a row. So Graham's dropping a chip on the floor for Cody, and Cody's going, yeah, no, not cool enough yet. So in comes Louis, snags the chip, does a runner, and Louis is just doing to Cody what Cody did to him last night. You pinch my doggy roll, I'll pinch your chips. And then finally I got cool enough, so I took pity on Cody, so I started blowing on his chips for him. I know, don't ask. So he can have some sooner. And I'm handing him over a chip. And just as I'm starting to give him a chip, he's sort of like, you know how dogs have got this wonderful peripheral vision. They can see around corners, I'm sure they can. He sees Graham, a bit of a slight movement with Graham, and he's turned away from my lowly chip. He said, thank you very much. I'll have that crust. I'll have that pizza crust. So pizza crust is more valuable than a chip. We do have some standards in this house, but I think a few have dropped over the years. They don't sit at the table, okay? We don't give them a knife and fork. Yeah, it's a takeaway on Sunday night when we don't go out to dinner. That's the life. Doing pretty good, I'd say. But I will probably end this video off when I get this tag done. Unfortunately, it's been mainly a day of rest for me. I just said to Graham before, days of rest are really frustrating, but I've been pushing it a little bit over the last few days. So honestly, if I don't look after me, my body won't look after me. If I don't look after my body won't look after me, or something like that. Anyway, I need to learn to just chill a little bit during the day, take a breath, go for a little walk. But I seem to plant my bottom fairly on this chair, and I don't move because I don't want to, because this is where I like to be. Whether I'm filming or not filming, this is my happy space. We've got a little signal to Tony Graham. He's like Scarlet Pimpernel. You see him here, you see him there, you see him everywhere. So he's got to come in quietly or make an announcement, squeak the boards, do anything to get my attention so he doesn't frighten me into next week. He stands very quietly at the door now and tries to see if the red dots on the bottom of the screen, but the dogs give him away anyway. I know he's heading this way because the dogs are jumping around like dogs, I guess. He's coming. All hail the king, he's coming. So you can tell I'm really sad, I'm being silly, I'm sorry. Like I said last time, I tried to get very clever by sticking a dot right in the middle of, and I didn't have a dot that time, and look at that, I've actually done it. There's no need to cut all the way around there because that actually looks pretty good. Actually, just a little bit of, it was that me centering it and putting that black dot there that did it. just eyeballed it. How courageous of me. I've made it just a little bit too wide, have I? A little bit too much glue. Go off and leave you now. Thank you for your company. Thank you for spending time with me. That's if you're ever going to hear this one. And be kind to you. And please be kind to the person standing next to you. Until next time, bye for now. Hello, I'm back again. Just me, Vicky. I've been working very hard in the background, and this is number 9 of 10. I've just got one more to go, girls. One more, and boys. So I've done this one a little bit differently again. When you're doing so many of the same thing, just keep trying to come up with a little bit of something different. So I've got all the seam binding hanging out of the top of it, and I used all different colours to make it look a little bit pretty. But so I'll just give you a quick peek, because I will do a show at the end. So I'll just say that all of the tags I've cut down from the big ones. Hopefully that's on the video. So these all came with the paper pack, but of course they were all bigger than that. So I've just cut them down to fit into here. So I've just gone through, and I know I'm just giving you a very quick view, but like I said, I'll do a show and tell at the end with them all, because I've got bits and pieces of video on all of them. Just so I'll put like a little montage together, and then at the end I will do a proper flip through that gives you a better idea of what it is. But these are for sale, so if you did see one so far that you particularly like, just message me and I can put your name on it if you want me to. So there you go, number 9, one to go. Whew. Given that this was started a couple of years ago, it's feeling really good. So this is one of my 100 makes. Use it up, one basket at a time. This is like falls into every category that I've got going at the moment. It ticks every box, you know. And so I'm feeling pretty good about it, actually. And it means I'll have 2 more binders empty. Not binders, I'll have 2 more plastic tubs empty. I might have a bit stored to fill them up again, but sooner or later there'll be nothing to put in them. I just know there will. Anyway, on that note, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with me. Now you be kind to yourself, and you be kind to the person standing next to you. And until I get number 10 out, it's bye for now.